It's 3 minutes past 6.
Pauline! Is there sugar in this?
Liza, Tarbuck, BBC Radio 2.
Greetings to you, significant bringers of light. Welcome along. So the music's in, peppered with classics. So you're going to like at least 2 songs. So that is the framework existing, and all we need now are for your filthy thoughts to flesh this sucker out. So that's not what that means, and I could have said mum, but I've chosen to say you marvellous old fruit. Because it might have been someone you heard, I don't know, in the hairdresser. I mean, they don't have to be old. Just have to be able to misunderstand words. And I could call it malapropisms, but I think we'd probably be cutting off a good third of the audience with that kind of literary reference. Celebs in your dreams, of course, and insane behaviour that has even you querying whether it's menopausal madness or you just need locking up. Cribbing it. All your home improvements, should be house improvements, home improvements. Maybe you found something that you've been looking for all year, that one shoe. Maybe, the point is, at this time of year, people are giving the spare room a spruce. Clearing things out, decluttering, all of that stuff I want to know about. And I was going to call the next little thing, the next little thought nudge, dishwasher etiquette. Because essentially, those things that you do because it's your routine and your home, quite hard in the next coming weeks if you're going to have friends and family around, that you've got to widen your routine up and cope. You're going to have to cope, aren't you? So really, how do we get into that? Does it matter? Does it really matter in the scheme of things? Yeah, I think that's quite a broad thing, but if you know what I mean, dear Lord, will you write in and tell me? So cats and Christmas decks. What lengths has Puss gone to get his hands on some tinsel? I mean, it could be a bauble that's caught his eye. Either or, have you found a hoard somewhere? Has he made a nest out of small, sparkly things? Or maybe, maybe you can't put your tree up because the piggin cat's obsessed with it. Eating on your own, if you are on your own tonight, and, what are your favourite solo dinners? Maybe you do save that sort of actually quite a dodgy taste sensation that you've loved since you were 15, but nobody else in the house does. So when they're out, you have that. What is that? If you're on your own tonight and you're eating in a sensationally filthy way, let me know, please. That legendary family pet who deserves a mention all the time. I love that. And we've still got some good ones. Skating tonight. We are waiting upon a venue. No one's actually come forward, which I think is quite mean. But as soon as I know, I will let you know of. Yeah, I think it was Irene got a bit browned off with me going on about her rumification. But tough. You've got to skate with the blows, Irene. Top Bird Trumpingtons, and how are you reining in the children's high spirits? I mean, not that you have to, but of course, perhaps you've had to fence some difficult questions or been astonished by an under five's wisdom. I'm constantly astonished by how great they are. So I just wonder if you've overheard something marvellous. Bit of reasoning between siblings. And we know what we like here, don't we? We know what we like. So if you were amused by anything, share it with the Murmuration. And if all else fails, the very least you can do is share your menu with us, because inspiration is, after all, public service. So I think actually what I've done is lie to Ryland. It's not Ryland. It's Rylan. Sorry, sometimes I call him in my mind Roland, but it's, again, not a gag. He enjoys that guy. But the good news is he's going to a fancy dress party tonight and he's getting dressed here, so any minute now. Just saying. So I said to him that we were going to talk about the more unusual tales of how I met my partner. You know, those sort of strange ones. Well, I knocked her off a bike when I had to drive her to A&E and we fell in, you know, that kind of thing. But maybe not so as dramatic. But I've just read this from an anonymous woman in New Zealand. And I think... Oh, no, it's Catherine. I think that we ought to have a texter as for confessions when you're going to fess up to something that you might have blamed one of your siblings for. Here, listen to this. I'm a fox from New Zealand, says Catherine. Hello. When I was very young, about 8, I think, in the early 70s, Blue Peter were appealing for kids to send in old keys to melt down and raise funds for worthy causes. So this chimes in very nicely with our cornflake houses and trying to win a pony without actually thinking about where you'd keep it. So all in all, I'm loving this straight away. I diligently collected all the keys I could find in the house, all the house keys, the car keys, the keys to the holiday house in Norfolk, anything else I could find. I found a padded envelope, copied the free post address from the telly. Bosh, you'd think, yeah. So I remember thinking I'd done a really great thing to help other people. What I hadn't banked on was what my parents were going to be like, and they demanded to know where all the keys were. I, of course, blamed one of my brothers. So let's call him Columbo. Sorry, Columbo. Yeah, that's a long time coming, isn't it? But I really understand that if somebody's made that appeal that we need your keys, I mean, that's actually really bad of Blue Peter, isn't it? It's all their fault. So my mother is 90 now, and she still doesn't know that it was me. She won't be listening. Love to everyone in the UK. So I think that's it, isn't it? It's all about confessions. You might have blamed someone else. You might just want it off your mind. Oh, one day I'll have a really good chat about music with somebody. Until then, probably won't be on this channel, will it? Well, I suddenly feel a bit like that. A bit sort of, yeah. I was very surprised, Liza, says Mary of Glasgow, to hear that Joni Mitchell's fave dish is liver and onions. Well, that is quelle surprise. Maybe she got it off of Graham Rush. Ex-Hollies. Anyway, you know what I mean. I don't know why, but mine is a cheese beano followed by 2 tonics tea cakes, all washed down by lashings of tea. Best regards to all. Yeah, that's good. You see, at the moment, I can't get enough tea. And funny enough, I didn't know about the sensation of Scylla on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok. But I have all week been judging my breakfast tea by tones of Scylla's hair. So the good news is the best tone could be, brewed in the pot of, I'm not an idiot. If it comes out looking like the day after she's done her roots. That's my best, and I speak from experience. I liked her quite Albany, dark Albany. So did Bobby. Hi, Liza. I met my now husband at an RTA. Oh, that sounds awful. He was a firefighter, hose in hand, and I was the local press photographer. Our eyes met over a nasty road. 34 years later, though, it's still going. Going strong. Dinner tonight, we're going to have crispy duck pancakes washed down with a Malbec. Dan Ryan, you know, of The Bay. Oh, he loves a Malbec. You'll know Dan. He was in Linda Green all those years ago. When I was working up in Manchester recently, I was doing an episode of Brassic, and he was on the Bay, and we kept going out for dinner because why wouldn't we, old pals? Honestly, we had some laughs, but we had one. I had to remind him of a particularly good Sunday lunch we had, where he's insisted on Malbec. God, I'm not even hungry, but I can really see that. Blooming dinner was great. Fabulous Yorkshires. And we could have gone mustard. I like horseradish. Just saying. And I think with horseradish, it's underrated. It's a sort of British version of wasabi. You know what I mean? Like badgers are the British panda. It's that kind of thought. Anyway, this is Jo and her fabulous hubby Paul. They're in Northampton. You want to give them a little a nod of recognition. And this fabulous, you're just riffing on various themes that you like. So regarding tenuous links to a famous, which will never get old. I mean, I love it. So Jill from East Sussex has been in touch and says, years ago, a guy down the road from us worked for Robert Smith from The Cure. Robert was doing some home improvements and the handyman said, would we like Robert Smith's dishwasher? So we said, well, yeah. And it was a fantastic bit of kit. It lasted for you because he's not an idiot, is he? Robert Smith, he's not blimmin'... Anyway, they're just going to have burger and chips for tea. Love to all. Hi, Liza. When I was little, I used to roll my chips in a slice of ham. It's beautiful. And you just made me remember it. Thanks very much. Chicken legs and veg for tea for the troops, as my dishy husband is on a rare night off for his NHS Christmas do, or from his... If he's on a night off, is he going or not? I cannot fathom this, Caroline. Caroline is of Edinburgh. I don't know whether I'm coming or going to a Christmas do. Andrew, Denise and Hetty and Albie, the Cairn Terriers of Devon. Albie? Who's that? Where is it? Our favourite expression for I don't care is not my circus, not my monkeys. That is quite, Ricky, isn't it? It's not my circus and they're not my monkeys. So it's a bit left field, but it somehow makes you feel much better just saying it. Yeah. Like a blankie, isn't it? Like a blankie. Hake. First mention for hake for some time. Hake, spinach and chips for supper tonight. Love to everyone and happy skating. Well, yeah, we might be all round yours the rate this is going. Best wishes to you, Andrew and Denise. Thank you for that. And you know, as I stated at the top of the show, I love a story of just things just dropping, and I'm always prompted with that as a, to remind you about that when the crows are flying overhead. Although we've got quite a lot of gulls in London, when the crows drop something. The other day it was a plastic container that had tiny little sausages in. I don't know where they'd nicked that though, but I appreciated it. It wasn't a present. So, Liza, one of the most odd and inexplicable things I've ever had happen to me occurred when I was a newly married man at a house we had in Bolton in 1992. One evening, my new, but now ex... See, that's sad, isn't it? I mean, it's not. They're grown-ups. They knew what they were doing. But my new wife and I were having our evening meal in the kitchen when we heard a noise and something fell on the floor right in the middle of the kitchen. Looking down to see what it was a quarter of a McVitie's Digger digestive biscuit, known to my brother James and I. That's Liza speaking. Diggers. 2 diggers and a glass of milk when you got home from school. Bosh. So a quarter of a McVitie's digestive. The oddest thing about this was that we weren't biscuit people. I mean, that's a sentence that comes, isn't it? I mean, in my mind, I've got a Lowry, but they're all gingerbread. We weren't biscuit people. I think that might be the favourite thing. I'm just looking at it and loving it. And we didn't have any biscuits in the house at the time. It fell in the middle of the kitchen floor, not near any worktops or cabinet units, so it falling off something or being dropped by a mouse wasn't even a possibility. It just like it appeared through some sort of portal that had opened up. Well, yeah. But a quarter, that's so weird, isn't it? That maybe 2 timelines had I nearly said clashed. Oh, it's going to be that kind of night, isn't it? So this is Andy of Skipton giving us all the big news. I'm going to be wearing a Virgil Tracy of Thunderbirds outfit for school. I love it that you're doing that. Do you want me to be Marina? And we'll it's got to be outside tonight. We might end up just icing Old Trafford or somewhere. Just getting up there doing it. Because at least we could have spotlights then, Andy. And if I was Marina, I might secretly know where you are because I put that tag on the back of your belt. And so I know where you are. And then I might just dodge in and out of spotlights looking for you. Not that she fancied Virgil, but you know. Talking of absolute genius. That song dates at 1959 and Ella Fitzgerald won a Grammy for her particular rendition of that track in 63. I think it dates from 1928-ish, certainly pre-30s. It's just, I find Nina occasionally very refreshing, you know. Just want to read this because it's really funny. Oh, blast! Where have I put it? Oh, here we are. Mum. There's a couple of mum things that you need to know. So this one is from Jane, who's doing cross-stitch, but wishing she was skating whilst throwing hot chestnuts from hand to hand. I mean, that is, it's almost from Bruegel, that, isn't it? Why don't you just pop the cross-stitch down in a bit and skate with us? You know, it's 30 seconds of your life, Jane. As we were approaching a motorway bridge, my mum suddenly announced, "Oh, look! Vote Labour!" I wonder what that means. I think it's vote Labour, Mum. Vote Labour! Now, I need to find the one there. This is Sensation. Sensation on a page from Sally of Norfolk. Recently, whilst walking across the market, me and my sister were momentarily distracted by a naked mannequin being manhandled in a shop window. I like watching that too. Tick! I really like that. Mum, who's 84 and always wants to help unsuspecting pedestrians, made a dash for it, saying a man was having trouble doing up his coat. She rushed up to a man, grabbed the zip on his coat and yanked it up. He yelped because she trapped his beard in the zip. His eyes were watering as he said he was undoing his coat. The zip was stuck ob. She then walked away calmly and told a passing policeman that man over there needs your help. I mean, what she did there was style it out. But to trap a man's beard... She's a harsh mistress. Oh, listen to this. Amanda in Portsmouth she's opening a crack. She's opened the door a little wide to shed a little light. A crack is what I was going to say. That's not what I meant. There's a crack of... I don't think I can get a name for it. Liza, I'm old enough to remember when every village had a local bobby and dog owners needed a licence, says Louise. Now living in Kendal, but grew up in North Yorkshire. Just so you just get a little roundy picture of Lou, as I like to call her. I discovered my dog certificate issued by the village bobby for our stray black Labrador. We called him Ringo, brackets, after the beetle, because he used to lay on the hearth rug in front of the fire and when he wagged his tail, it beat against the coal scuttle. Oh, that's a beautiful bit of writing there. Thank you very much for your edit, Louise. Love to all, she says. Love to all. Whereas actually, my Ringo, old Baldy, as I like to call him, yeah, he's strict. I mean, he's Ringo S. Starbuck. So, you can't deny there is a Beatle link. But really, it's the Ringo. I can't think of what that bloke's name is that sings that now. I want to say Dwayne Eddy, and I know that's wrong. Oh, if I was on a quiz show now and I said that, I'd look a right fool. Colin and Jane Jackson are in Great Yeldham, Essex, and say, we met at F.W. Woolworths in the days when they sold loose biscuits and sweets. We both worked there, and Jane always said we met over the broken bickies. That would have been 48 years ago, because we've now been married for 46. Oh, Colin, you've written this, haven't you? You absolutely adore her, don't you? But they're going to have jacket potato, lasagna and garlic bread and a bottle of Malbec. I mean, it's Dan Ryan's Vino de Jour. Seems it's catching on. Just this last one. As children, we would visit my Auntie Mary and Uncle Ernie at their farm in Wiltshire. Ooh, that would have been good. They had a hay barn. 4 hours of fun. The journey was quite long from Aylesbury, so we'd have a stop in Devizes for a comfort break and a leg stretch. My sister Nicola and I would call it the wee place, and even now, over 40 years later, I still think of that name when I hear Devizes mentioned on travel reports. Devizes, the wee place. Love to everyone. Oh, you know. Beggar's belief. My guilty pleasure when home alone is soft white bread, lashings of butter with sardine and tomato paste, and as a real treat, salt and vinegar chipsticks. Ooh, that's tasty. That's Amanda of Portsmouth. Putting my shopping away in the fridge the other day, says Claire of Cornwall, with Nellie and Beanie. Nellie! Ooh. Bad dog! Putting my shopping away the other day, the parmesan wedge slipped out of my hands and landed with a splash in the dog's water bowl. Not a problem, it's shrink-wrapped, and it was as good as new after a wipe. Needing said cheese later on to add to my crispy garlic butter parmesan smashed potato. God. Brackets, eats like a dream. Yeah. I was absolutely confounded because that cheese wasn't in the fridge or indeed anywhere to be found. I checked drawers, cupboards, bins and even the nooks and crannies where cockapoos might have stashed it. No avail. Liza, where's my cheese? Where's Claire's cheese? Where could it be? I fell for the, the Bobby Brown's Jones Road, that thing. I bought it and then couldn't find it. I've been 4 months looking for it. Found it at my mother's the other day. Found it round at my mother's. Pat and Jill Mojikar say, we like our tea the colour of David Dickinson. No sugar and a nice vicar's collar. Ooh, hang on a minute. Step back. A crack is what I was going to say. That's not what I meant. There's a crack of... I don't think I can get it through.
This is Nikki Cardwell.
Pauline! What's that fella's name? What?
Tonight's weather turning dry and clear for Wales and southern and central England. It'll be cloudier everywhere else.
Welcome back, men. I genuinely worry about myself sometimes. Because nobody else seems to. They're just letting me do things. So, I mean, I'm not even going to go down that route because it makes me sound odder. Celebrity dreams, top bird trumpingtons, legendary pets, and other names for your pet we did last week. But, let's maybe think about cats and their obsessions, i.e. Christmas decks. If, what we're shown, what we're led to believe is true. Home improvements, this is the season for just, you might let a few people round at your house and it might be time to sort that out once and for all. Oh, sort that out. I'm sick of looking at it. It only takes a bit of effort. Anyway, I'd like to know about it. Things dropping out of nowhere, of course, and if you're eating on your own, what's your go-to filthy dinner? That's not what that means, Mum. Tenuous links to any famous anywhere, skating outfits, of course, menopausal madness, and dishwasher etiquette. Does it matter? We're also talking about unusual places that you may have met your partner and confessions to something you've never admitted to before. Probably done in your youth when you blamed a sibling. But, yeah, so we opened there with Dennis Waterman singing, which was quite a big hit in 1979, the Minder theme tune. Was he... he was a household name by then, wasn't it? Because Minder was obviously after the Sweeney, and Minder was so good. Writing like that, it hadn't happened before. It hadn't. It's amazing, isn't it, the progress you can clock with the beautiful view of retrospect. Hi, everyone. Firstly, it amuses me when I travel to the local tip because I recall many years ago we had to dig out the blocked sewer manhole. My partner Anne and I set out for the local tip with a bin liner of stuff precariously held in a bucket. Why didn't you put it down the drain in the road? Anyway, they didn't. They've got it in a bin liner. On the journey, Anne questioned whether it was the appropriate place to take it. Yeah, I'm afraid I would, Mark of Chichester. Anne and I claimed that we had no option, and to add interest to the argument, I shouted out, "Look at that sign! Wanted bags of cack!" "Where?" inquired Anne enthusiastically. Well, her mood changed to hostility once she saw I was convulsed in mirth. I still use the wanted bags of cack example when exploring gullibility in the face of the highly unlikely. Stein's chili con carne, bracket Stein, Mexico, page 238. This is what Anne's up against. It's not easy being married to Mark. They're sharing steak titbits with the famous Angus the Lab sniffer of bots. So basically, they've got it all going on round at theirs. Sticking with the Garden Duncans, well, in fact, there is quite a few of never mind devices being wee spot. We've got quite a lot of poo-poo news. Peter of Corbett says, I used to enjoy seeing a hand-painted sign at the roadside entrance to a small holding on the way to Waltham Abbey, and it read, "Manure, drive in." I would have driven in. I've had a bag of pig manure that is now I've had it for at least, I'd say, the guy who's given me is a deader now. So I'd say it's at least 7 years older. I bought it for my roses and I already had one, didn't need... Yeah, anyway, long story. Really fascinating story, Liza. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Absolutely privileged to have a show on. Listen to this. Heather's in Salisbury. She says, yesterday on a lovely woodland wander, I spotted a redwing, a fieldfare and a little egret. You know what that is? That's top bird trumpingtons right there. Thank you, Heather. All in Sussex on a beautiful nature reserve. Lost all feeling in my hands and feet, of course, from the cold, but the pain was worth it. Oh, I don't know which I'd have liked to see more. But yeah, thanks for that news. Hi everyone. On the way to Lamorna Cove in Cornwall a good 10 years ago, I spotted a large black on white sign, hand painted at the side of the road. It simply stated, "Pork here." It still brings a chuckle to think of. This is Luke of Ipswich. Pork. I love that word anyway. I was calling Ringo Porky this week. It's not, he's not necessarily porky. It's just that porky is funny, isn't it? Hi everybody, isn't that great? Isn't that song great? I'm wondering whether it's my favourite song of the... Yeah, only because it's absolutely brand new, Plain White Tees. Hey there, Delilah, what's it like? Those guys. I think that's an absolute triumph, just saying. If you were to go searching on some sort of media outlet, they probably would earn about 40p for every time you put their name in. It's all about the individual names get ramps. I mean, not that they might not need the money. They could be the sons of Playboy millionaires. Or daughter. Oh. Get on with it! Sorry. Hi, Liza. I found a great location for skating tonight. This is Andy on the Wirral. The Leisure Peninsula. I found a great location for skating tonight. The Tunnel of Love in Southport Pleasureland has frozen over. Well, of course it has. The irony of that, and it's not uncommon for a tunnel of this vintage. I've managed to cut a hole in the perimeter fence. All's good. Right, we're on. Right, that is a call to arms. So, Irene, John and Bertie from last week say the squirrels are currently showing off pirouetting and jumping. You know what it's like because it's still frozen up here. Moorhens doing really well, Birdie helping them choreograph their moves. Irene ironically says it's going to be Stollen tonight with hot rum punch. Yeah. Any excuse. Claire Kitty Carpenter. Kitty. Going skating as Hello Kitty tonight with sushi-inspired prints on my skates. I'm in Manchester, but love to all. And Lottie's been skating. Yeah, she's actually been... For her 50th birthday, she did some premature retro roller disco action. Presumably with one of her sons. She sent me a pic. She said, just to let you know, today my bruised right buttock is less impressed with my bucket list success than I am. Yeah, it's just a buttock. Look, bums get better. Do you know what I mean? Or if you're generally bruising, think about building your blood up, please, and go and get a bottle of Floridix. Either or, if you're dressing your tree tonight, or you just want to stand back and go, oh, that looks nice, this is the song for you. Trish Yardley of Flitwick. We're having new flooring in the kitchen and sitting room, she says. Anyhow, it's been bought now for a while, and we've not got round to putting it down yet, so it's just sitting there glowering at me. It's a fabulous word, that, isn't it? A glowering sky. Marvellous, though, isn't it, to have new flooring glowering at Trish. Anyway, we had friends over last weekend, and absent-mindedly, as I was tidying up, I found myself dusting the rolls of floor. Oh, it's got to go in. It's got to go in. And then she says, did I mention it's not laid yet? Yeah. Whoever's in charge of laying that floor, I mean, just get it done. Just do it, Michael. Steak and jackets for himself and son James tonight. Trish, who has got the patience of a saint, but actually is wearing thin. I think you were wise not to name your filthy husband. I remembered a work colleague telling the story of their child's action man going AWOL whilst on manoeuvres in the lounge. Yeah, easily done, though. Depending on what uniform he had on, or whether a sibling was using him for Barbie. He was just butcher than Ken, come on. And he had a Jeep. Not much has changed, has it? It was only when a small hand was seen protruding from their Labrador's leavings in the garden that the mystery was solved. I'd have quite enjoyed watching that coming out. Do you know what I mean? I know it's filthy to moving on from the garden Duncans, but actually, as that came out, if it was the gripping hand, that would have been like, a poo emoji. An actual 3D poo-emoji. No, it doesn't work. Various other body parts and items of uniform were recovered over the next few days. I don't believe that the Armalite rifle, was ever found, however. All the best to everyone. Gary from Treddleton. What? There go Alistair and Chrissy. They've got the wetsuits on again. There's Anna in Southampton. Currently got a couple of baubles that she hasn't put on the tree. Woo, there she goes. Here comes Amanda. She's skating in honour of her dad, Les Carr, the mighty Les Carr. I'm sorry, Janet, but we insist you come on the ice. A legend. See Virgil. Can you? Blooming Irene shoved a load of rum up me. Richard's been in touch. He says, my goodness wife, surely an error, but I don't know what it would be. My goodness wife, Julie, is going out to meet her childhood friends this evening, so I'm going to eat on my own. Still, I've made enough chicken curry for us both, so I'm sure we'll have the rest of the leftovers later in the week with a jack potato. I think Richard's what they call thinking out loud. Tony Christie, of course, a song written for the TV series The Protectors. But actually, sometimes I need to chase a track down. And I couldn't remember the name of it, and then I had to go via a film that the fabulous Kath Burke was in years ago, where she was singing. Oh, it all got very cloak and daggers, you know. Very, very Enfield rifles. Evening, Liza. Evening, all the listeners. My legendary pet was George the Airedale. He was like a man in a suit. It's a nice image, thank you very much. He used to amaze us. No, he didn't. Well, he did. He used to amaze unsuspecting visitors. You see what my mind did? It changed a 10-letter word 2 letters. So sorry. He used to amaze unsuspecting visitors to the house by sitting by the fruit bowl and asking very clearly in a deep voice for an apple.
Apple. Apple.
But he'd only eat it once it had been peeled and cored, of course. Bien sûr. This is Sarah of Malvern. She's having a bit of paella for tea. Paella. Yeah, buenas noches, Sarah. Talking of which, Pedro and Walter Cedric Monkfish McTavish, which is quite an annoying thing to be like, mean to tell you're human. And Mrs. P, who gets a no mention much. Years ago, when I was much younger with a full head of hair, I met Mrs. Pedro. I was in the local shop in the foothills of the Alpujarras, and she was ahead of me in the queue. Upon bagging her groceries, she clearly became confused with the language and flustered between adios and hasta luego. Instead, she blurted, adagio, to which the cashier replied, hello. I mean, that's some sort of cluster. Carl. Ever since we have reminisced over copious amounts of tempranillo, over copious amounts of delicious tempranillo. Sarah with a paella, Pedro and Mrs. P with... Anyway, they've got a log fire burning. And in that warmth, from the warmth of their hearth, you imagine Ringo's tail beaten on the coal scuttle. They're sending fat love with a PH. Fat love to you all. Annie's in Horsham. She says, my husband's favourite phrase is, if it goes off the rails, it's not my train set. Leek and potato galette. Scrunchy salad, then apple pie and cream for dinner tonight. Plenty left if anyone wants to pop over. Horsham. I could be there in 40 minutes.
Shake it all over.
I love that track. Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. Ushering in the news that Gary has just been in for a cuddle. What we like. I've shown him, somebody's had a dream about him, which I haven't read out yet. He was thrilled, but can you just make it clear he doesn't have a pool? So it's about to get 80s up on the 6th floor in the mothership. So it's signalling time that you really need to name the show, 6 words or less. And last week we had Shout Loudly when approaching Nan's Hole. Got through. Thank you, Sharon. She's in Newbury. Yeah, it's all about, Nan's Hole. It's that journey and the spot that still means something when you drive past. But do I need to explain that? I don't know. So surmise the show, 6 words or less. It's for BBC Sounds. It's to make it more interesting. And make it funny, please. Monday lunchtime.
We gotta go home.
Yes, we do have to go home. Not before. I thank you for being fantastic and just interesting and lively and marvellous. I hope the rest of the evening's terrific. My great thanks to Filthy Nicola Cardwell, to Mark Simply the Best Wilcox, to Leggy Marie Divine AP, and my delightful producer and friend, Slim Springs, a.k.a. Joseph in the Nativity. Great team here. I hope you have a lovely rest of. Gary's warming up. Ciao. A crack is what I was going to say. That's not what I meant. There's a crack of... I don't think I can get a name for it. Tell us the truth! Hey there, hi there, ho, ho, ho there. Yeah, welcome along, fun buns. Oh, I'm glad you're there. Gladdened, to use the proper Yule lingo. You've gladdened my heart. I have presumed music to accompany what I hope will be a very ridiculous ridiculously good 2 hours of top-notch cobblers. So let's recollect that legendary pet from the past. Almost found that my lips didn't work then, like I'd been bitten by an insect. What was that? I just saw the word muddle. Any celebs in your dreams? Count me in, I want them. And your mum getting muddled and saying something so wrong it becomes marvellous. I mean, I say your mum, it could be a toddler, it could be your dad. I don't know. I'm just jogging your memory. Top Bird Trumpingtons, unusual places where you met your gorgeous best person. Things you found or been reunited with because you bothered to sort that box out. Or you thought, I better get that room sorted because mum's staying or the kids are coming, whatever. And there's that blooming earring I've been looking at. You know what I mean. I think. Excuse me. Appalling gifts that have now become hilarious. Maybe they weren't at the time. Obviously, for any anonymous subject you want to discuss, it's always the name of TV detectives so that we know that you're being subversive, which we like. Solo dinners, where you can chomp on unusual combos because there's nobody else to please. It's just you eating what you like. And who were you in the nativity at school? You might just want to say, it's Maureen, Gloucestershire, brackets, Mary. You know, that kind of thing. Let's just place it ourselves. Who were you? We need a skating venue, but I have been alerted by Mr. Lloyd Spring that Kath Webster may have covered that. But that'll be revealed in a moment. Glow-ups, which is, basically reinventing yourself and just polishing yourself in one direction or another that you just feel like, oh my goodness me. It's like when you get a new pair of trousers and you feel so good. Well, I better get another pair of those because I feel like $1 million. But it actually, that joy spreads into your life and everybody else is around you. Glow-ups, what are you doing? Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe that's not what a glow-up is. All subjects that we've covered this year remain open for as long as they've got legs. So do get in touch with whatever you like. And as per, if you've got naught else, you can inspire us with your dinner menu, especially if it's going to eat like a dream. Oh, good to the very end, isn't it? So, for a proper texter, finding yourself in real-life capers when you only nipped out, you were just walking the dog and perhaps the dog goes missing and you find yourself stuck in the skateboarding bowl with 9-foot cliffs of slippery concrete that you can't climb up. Maybe that happens, that you've slipped in there like a wet egg to rescue who, frankly, a selfish dog. That's what happened to me this week, and I just thought, isn't that funny? There I am, just out walking the dog, meeting a pal for a chat. We might get a coffee to walk round, but we'll just do a couple of rounds at the park and home, get back at it. All that hard work that I'm doing. And no, he went on the missing list. I had to go and find him. There he is in the middle of, it looks harmless from above. The sky. I tell you what, I've got a new admiration for any of those under 10s who are learning how to skateboard. It's terrifying. I thought I could lower myself in. No, it turns out I've got no strength in any limb. Yeah, so he got out, and then I had to rely on the absolute, my hero, Steve, was there from the beginning. He said, thank goodness I saw you going in there, or you could have been in there all afternoon. No one would have hurt you. And then we were joined by a guy called James, who was walking his black spaniel puppy who'd eaten a sock, and he was kicking around the park because he's waiting for the dog to pass the sock. And I couldn't stop thinking of how clean it'd be, just moving through his pipes, clean as a whistle. Then he said it was a baby sock, and I had in my mind it was a big old fat sports sock. He's like some sort of 80s model, dipping sports socks in orange juice. Remember that story? Oh, God, you see the tangents. Oh, the tangents. Anyway, I just wonder if you found yourself in some sort of adventurous caper that it's not harmful. You've just got to suck it up and get on with it. Find a solution and then carry on. Ray Clark of Goole, East York, says, the best road sign I saw was in Ireland. Do you remember we've been talking about signs? As I drove down a hill, it said slow. And at the bottom of the hill, before a tight right-hand bend, it said slower. My brother used to, when Mum and Dad were away and it was just us, he'd put the alarm on and he'd hide the key for it and he'd leave you a note that just said top of the radiator in the pot, and you'd get that, oh my God, and in my mind I could hear him doing do 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 Mission Impossible music, and then going through that, and then he'd have another place that go in there, yeah, oh my God, and then he'd leave you a note that just said faster. Oh, he's a swine. Anyway, yeah, you can see I'm all higgledy-pig, and I think it's because I've had some stolen that probably has got some brandy in it. Of course, credited to Ike and Tina Turner, but apparently Ike was away for the recording of that. Yeah. No, Ike and Tina Turner, no, they didn't. It's just Tina. Hi, Liza. My lovely husband, Dan, bought me a second-hand wheelbarrow for a birthday present once, and in a previous year, he bought me, in inverted commas, a second-hand lawnmower. He's got a ground care business. Absolutely outrageous. Outrageous, Dan. I don't care how lovely you are. It's like buying someone a Hoover. I've got you a lovely Hoover. Have you? Oh, I think that actually, Louise, you could take both of those and start to look at that holiday you want to go on. I mean, with the lovely Dan, maybe you can go and look at the gardens of Bali. I'm in cheek. Anyway, this is from Louise, Dan and Sapphire, who I think is their sort of familiar, or, like their fairy follows them round. Yeah, intergalactic figure, Sapphire. It's in the car with them. They're travelling home from family gift exchange day. God, we really do have to adapt to everything, don't we? The stress, never mind that, say, like my mum's generation is carrying on all stress from the 70s when you had to get up at 3 o'clock to put a bird in the oven. Although I did get my Secret Santa the other day. Oh. Liza, whilst doing a Christmas quiz with an elderly relative, one of the questions was, what is the currency of India? To which my puddled aunt, who'd been drinking snowballs all afternoon, replied, RuPaul. He'd love that. Who knew that my dear old aunt was aware of the drag star superstar? We all are, Hugh. This is Hugh Fotts of Merthyr. And Chris of Ross-on-Wye. Beautiful part of the world. Taken a few Airbnbs in that region. So, I must go down there. I need a few more outside pots. I've got 2 belters from there. He's put a risotto on the stove. The wine is in the glass. Wife in the bath. I think you should have put sumptuous wife in the bath. But they're promising a perfect evening, so that's great. And he just says, I was always a shepherd, non-speaking part. Says it all, doesn't it?
You know he sees you when you're sleeping.
I've got your number, and baby, you got mine.
God. Oh, I love that belly one. Oh, I mean, I want to say it's a marimba, but I think we've been down this road quite a lot this year. I just don't remember things, That was Nancy Walker. Then as soon as I said that, I doubted it. It wasn't Nancy Walker. It's Nancy Wilson. Sorry, everyone. Hi, Liza. Our cat, Nipper, took a liking to the silver lametta strips that are draped in a very tasteful manner on the Christmas tree. She'd delicately tap them and try to pull them and watch as they shimmered in the lights. I mean, it's a cat's dream, isn't it, Lametta? Later in the festive period, I noticed something silvery make an appearance from her rear end. Sure you did. Phew, what is that, a fish? What have you eaten there, a sprat? So she must have eaten one of the silvery slips and wasn't able to, in inverted commas, expel it. Nipper was unable to expunge the Lametta. I managed to get hold of it and pulled on it gently until the whole strip, all 30 centimetres, came out Nipper scarpered. And I've never used Lametta again, yeah. Can you imagine Nipper telling her cat mate, yeah, it's a Grimm's fairy tale in reality, kits. Yeah, kits, gather round. Yeah, don't eat Lametta. I mean, it's got nothing to get any purchase from in the middle of a kitty cat's tummy, has it? There's no sort of oomph. I keep seeing a word that I'm not sure I'm allowed to say on the radio, but I think it's medical, and we don't want to wind that department up, do we? Anyway, cod bites, homemade chips, washed down with some Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc tonight. Love to everybody, Anna King. Haybrook Bay, Devon. She knows the coup. Hi, everybody, says Terry and Ness. Farts. My dear mum once went on a coach trip to see the newly built Thames Barrier. God, I'd have liked to have been on that. Up the back. I'll be there yet. I mean, how fantastic. But, you know, I went down there on an Uber taxi, you know, that they're calling the riverboats that. Cannot recommend that highly enough. We meant to go to see some sort of happening down there, which turned out to be something of a squib. Best part of the day was the boat ride. And there's a bar on it. Yes, say no more. Anyway, look, can you get back to Terry and Ness, you hog? Rude. My dear mum once went on a coach trip to see the newly built Thames Barrier. When she returned, I asked her if she'd enjoyed herself. She said, no, it was very interesting, but I was disappointed that there weren't any tropical fish there. Love to everyone. Terry and Nat. Shalimar. Sorting through clothes today as I'm moving soon, and I found my Girl Guide outfit, and in the pocket was a 1977 Girl Guide diary. That's good hoarding. Lots of entries by the 10-year-old me in pencil, in my best joined-up writing too, which made little sense, but crucially included my address. Korean chicken burgers for tea. That's Mrs. A of Banstead. Farts. Banstead. Oh, here's the big news. Kath Webster, Rastrick Brighouse, says, hi, Liza. Hi, gang. I found the skating venue for tonight, White Rose Shopping Centre, Leeds. Now, you might think that that isn't very festive or Christmassy, but trust me, the Leeds Council have frankly spent everything they can in the budget to make that a magic wonderland. That's the second thing you think about with Leeds. Students first, and then magic wonderland second. So it's the White Rose Shopping Centre, Leeds. The rink's open until the 14th of January next year. But we only need it for, 5 minutes max? Anyway, Kath says, see you all there later on the ice. I just love the idea. See you on the ice. Oh, God, I tell you what, you've been having a lot of celebs in your dreams as well. Hi, everybody. A celeb dream for me. I played golf last night with Brian Cant from Play Away. Play Away! This is Mel in Learminster. She's with Guy and Bertie, the Fox Terriers. Two naughty fellows. You naughty fellow! So there she is playing golf with Brian Cant, and he had amazing golf club covers. They were hand-knitted and very much of the time. which gives us nothing, really, does it? Either or, it's steak and chips for dinner there tonight. Win-win, isn't it? Hi, Liza and gang. I dreamt that Gary Davis... Oh, Gary Davis invited me to a pool party at his house. God, that is just in one's mind. Gary makes your mind wander, doesn't he? He makes you. He was incredibly well-groomed, in brackets, as you'd expect, yeah. But there was no smell, which was very disappointing. Yeah, that's because he's saving it all up for me to smell of it for the rest of the night. You have heard about his new perfume, haven't you? Sexy Chaos. He'll be coming in with that. It's a nightmare. I can't get rid of it. Think of Gary all night. Christmas crafting with the cats tonight. See you on the ice later, Sarah Bournemouth. Yeah. Sexy Chaos. I love it that he was at a pool party. He doesn't have a swimming pool, just so FYI. Evening, everyone. My dear old mum fell off the twig, as she would put it, back in 2019, aged 90. She had lots of mummisms, and I'm very glad I kept a note of them, as the memories always make me smile when they pop up. One involved an elderly friend of hers. Mum said, oh, and poor Gordon had that awful problem with his sarcophagus. Me, esophagus, Mum. So that's just beautiful, isn't it? Big love to you, Joe Francis of Brentford. Not off. And then a sex cat says, my grandson, Alf, told his mum that he was a leopard in the nativity, and his panicked mother sourced a spotty onesie, sewed a tail on, full hit. Turns out he was a shepherd. Merry everyone and happy everything, and extra wrapped love to all of you. A weekly little bit of magic, FYI. Liza, I was following a couple of chaps up the footpath next to Chelsea Walsh's famous motorsport hill climb. Blimey, I wasn't expecting all those words in that salad. Right, I was following a couple of fellas up a footpath. It was up a fairly steep track in Worcestershire, from what I can work out. I wanted to get a better view of all the action. As the incline increased, one old boy said to his mate, oh, if it gets any steeper, we'll need to put tampons on. All the best, John McG. So my mum didn't get it story relates to my fabulous sister Denise in her capacity as a mother. My nephew Albie was working for a security firm, and he was part of the team contracted to Brighton Pride. He texted his mum to let her know that he and some colleagues were allocated to the bear tent. Grrr. I think you mean beer tent, replied my sister. No, Mum, it's most definitely the bear tent. What's that when it's at home? Well, she rang me later and related the story, saying, well, I did look it up and I kept on looking. I couldn't stop. What an education. To be honest, she's not been the same since. Love to everyone, Andrew of Devon. Yeah, if you don't know what Denise was getting in a pickle about, have a look yourself. Nachos bake with homemade guacamole tonight, say Carol and Phil. They're expats living in Malaga. As for skating tonight, we're going to be wearing matching grass skirts, looking forward to our Hawaii adventure later this year. Later this year? You've only got 15 days. Oh, that's Carol for you. Hi everyone, I got together with my now wife Mandy counting night safes in Lloyd's Bank in Strood. We were locked in a security room, and once we covered the spy hole, we had complete privacy. I mean, there's a subtext here, Tony. Whew. Our first date was playing Skittles at a pub in Tetbury. because I know how to treat a girl. That was 41 years ago this week when her hair was purple. This week it's pink. Merry Christmas, everybody. Anyway, Mum wants to send a load of Christmas decks to the charity. She put them in a bag and left them at the front door. And the next day, the bag was gone. Dad had taken it to the bins. Fair enough, isn't it? She berates him for not reading her mind and then sends him down to retrieve the bag from the bin recess. So they then set off for the charity shop. I think we know what's coming. On the point of handing over the bag, she peeks inside. And my fabulous dad has picked up the wrong bag and it's filled with tin cans, plastic bottles, etc. You can't make it up, can you? Steak for tea with a Malbec. We were talking about dishwasher etiquette, and Conrad of Bristol says you have to have dishwasher etiquette. Keeps visitors away, Liza. Which is nice of him, isn't it? Welcome back, men. So we're talking about exactly what we were talking about, I don't know, less than 3 seconds of... That's just an absolute lie. Well, the usuals, really. There's no need to go and getting all frothy about it, Tarbuck. With the addition of glow-ups, personal glow-ups that you are manufacturing for yourself, whether it be just a new purchase or a determination in your soul, I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to grip that by the ears and kiss it on the lips. Do you know what I mean? Sorting things out, just telling me what's for dinner. We've got skating this hour. People are being a bit laissez-faire. Unless, of course, you're going to Hawaii, Carol. In which case... so also the text of this week is finding yourself in a real-life caper. Been a couple of them through. One's been filthy. I can't use it. Which I must admit I've taken to shouting whenever I see actors on the street. Get a proper job! And they always look round. It's very personal sport. It's very satisfying. Can't think who I did that to last. It was only last week. Anyway, Liza, I know it was quite a while ago. Carol, it doesn't matter. Ceci n'est pas mon chat, Carol. But you were talking about people's names and their jobs, yeah. Subjects are always open. I had a part-time job in a high street shop where I had to wear a name badge. Once I'd served them, some customers, in brackets, clocking my name, would say, "Merry Christmas, Carol," and then say, "Oh, Christmas Carol," and laugh like it was hilarious. I just knew they'd stood in the queue, seen my name and thought, "Oh, I know what she'll find funny." And as no one said my name at any other time of the year. Also, don't get me started on Neil Sedaka. People see me, suddenly start thinking of something, and then they go, "Oh, Carol, I am, but oh." It sounds like Carol needs a little bit of a glow-up, doesn't it, really? But she says love to all Carols and everybody everywhere. Thanks, Carol of Northampton. I've always loved that hoofy sort of coconut sound. Hoofy coconuts. You heard it here first. One Saturday evening, when around her gaff for tea time, my gorgeous 89-year-old mum said to asked my husband, "Tony, do you fancy a quickie?" What she meant, God bless her, was a quiche. We never told her because it was just too funny. "Tony, do you fancy a quickie?" Hot eels, mash and liquor for dinner with chilli vinegar. Oh, you'd have liked the opener then, would you? Yeah. All from the pie and mash shop, washed down with a glass of port. You be careful with that, you'll have gout. You'll have gout before Carol gets to Hawaii. Love to everybody from Monkey Harris. All the best, Monkey. Monkey. Lady Mac of Cully says, Liza, my glow-up is buying a brand new mattress. Love to all. What's that? There we are. Guys in Southsea. Liza, on the topic of things found, Mum, Alison, lost her engagement ring, which she'd worn for over 50 years. That's a little rum, isn't it? After months of hunting, she finally gave it up as lost and got a replacement. Well, 2 weeks after her husband, / my dad, John, passed away, slipped from his meat suit to go and learn how to fly, Guy. Fly, Guy. That's what he's doing. Flying. With the birds. Anyway, that was in March. She only found the old ring. It had slipped off her finger in the freezer and been chilling there ever since. Needless to say, she was thrilled beyond words to have the original back. Never mind, it reads so well, that. I can't believe it, but well done, everybody. And actually, Alison, why don't you have this? Hi, says Jill Griffin of Rockville, Maryland. Brackets, just outside Washington, D.C., but I am originally from County Durham. Just so nobody thinks she's coming over here stealing our men. I think that was a wartime thing, that come over here stealing our women. I had a dream the other night that I was wandering through our local DIY warehouse and sitting all by himself at a table with books was Sir Paul McCartney. Of course, I went over and told him what a big fan I was and that my recently departed mum had always said, oh, it'll take some voice to beat that one. To which he smiled. Yeah. Wonder if it's she'd made that dream happen so that you had that lovely memory. Anyway, I've gone off on yet another tangent. I then asked him if I could buy one of his books for him to sign. He said, no. Grabbed a book, signed it, gave it to me. Bosh. That's McCartney, though, isn't it? It's just bosh. Oh, do you know what? I'm just having a little moment thinking he's the beating heart of this email. Anyway, love to absolutely everyone, because Jill's big-hearted. Laura from Keighley, West Yorkshire says, Nativity, Liza, I was always a blooming king. Just because I was tall. Yeah, I worked with a fine director when I was at RADA once, and he really whipped the old lady caricature into me. And that was me saddled with old ladies for a year. Yeah. Evening, everybody. Finished another shift as Santa in a safari park. I'm an actor. Get a proper job! But loving listening on the way home when my hubby picks me up, because he's gorgeous, isn't he? This is Mark and Dave in Glasgow. He is a bit of a looker. I'm going to be honest with you. Handsome has never been the hard part for Dave. They're off to pick up some Kurdish cuisine for dinner with a big piece of baklava. Well, two of them have got a bit of a sweet tooth. They'll be up all night. You'll be up all pigging night eating that. Oh, it's gone all spacey. Stop it, Harry. Hi, everyone. I can't make skating tonight. This is Mike and Triss. They're in sunny Bognor, apparently. Having come home in the pouring rain to my fabulous husband's dinner, I was promptly sent out again for celery. I'm going to be honest with you, he treats you like a slave, that man. All I'm saying. As I stepped out of the door, my wet heel slid behind me and down I went. I did that in the ivy. Had this flash pair, it's big breakfast era, I had a flash pair of heels on, slid, and honestly, my head landed in the bloke's lap. I did say something absolutely hilarious, which I can't repeat. But I did it again on another day. I fall over a lot, I always have done. I did it again, and then I noticed that Salman Rushdie was always in there when I fell, like he had a secret power. that one of his wishes in life, he'd wasted one of his wishes. Could you get back to the man in Bognor? Sorry, everyone. Anyway, my wrist took the impact, Liza. I can now type again, but it hurt. Dinner tonight, roast chicken pasta bake with celery. Homemade with broccoli. Well, your wrist hurts. Why don't we strap it up and then gaffer tape it to your body, and then we can make Tris come under that side and strap his arm in, so it's like a 4-man but only 3 arms, and join in the fun. You know, Leeds. It's picturesque. Leeds is beautiful. So why don't you save the pasta bake, the chicken pasta bake from scratch, for after skating, and stop being so pigging selfish? (1970), Diana Ross. Now, of course, Gary's coming up, sound of the 80s and all that. I don't know what he's playing tonight. He's his own man. But you can listen again to this show, you feel like it, on BBC Sounds. Although, if you are listening to a serial that you need the next episode to, do expect it to jump to Series 6. So you have no idea on the road from Putney what the hell is going on. And like a good citizen, you cannot meddle with it. Oh, BBC Sounds, it's almost good. So we need you, and yeah, they'll put that in a trailer. BBC Sounds, it's almost good. Can you hear the phones ringing? We need you to name the show 6 words or less. And last week, suggested by Sam of St Ives and Beverly of Muswell Hill, and in the dark hedges of Nornarn, we had Mark and Dee all over it. And we're not biscuit people. Refers to that story of the inexplicable digestive falling in the kitchen. Do you remember? Andy sent it. Anyway, you either remember it or you don't. So name the show 6 words or less. We'd like to keep it fun but eye-catching for that page. Like I say, BBC Sounds needs us because, frankly, the whole page can look a little dry. Although the other thing is it's quite hard to find this show on there too. You've got to be very specific. Quite hard to find Rob Beckett's show on there too. I want to. Email your suggestions by Monday lunchtime to liza.t@bbc.co.uk, and that's all you can do. You can either email them or you can clear off. Andy, Lydia and Jasmine are in stormy West Ireland. On the bird front, Liza, I had approximately, and this is enviable, I'm drooling, I had approximately 30 goldfinches feeding on the feeders today. Also about 15 to 20 sparrows and chaffinches, various tits, etc. God, 30 goldfinches though, you'd feel like a master, wouldn't you? You'd just feel like, oh, but it's magic, Western Ireland. The top bird Trumpington, though, is the sparrowhawk. Is it? I bet all those sparrows, I'm surprised they're still there. It comes down most days looking to catch its lunch. Doesn't have much success, though, but keeps trying. And just ends up sitting on the hedge while panic ensues all round, yeah. I've had my main bird tree clipped back because it was imposing itself on my neighbour's garden. All the mice sparrows cleared off. Do not like it. They do not like it. Whiskey smoked gammon. Whiskey smoked gammon, the filthy devils. Steak and... oh no, gammon steak. And chips with an egg and cheese on top, with baked beans on the side and a glass of rose up us. Around a roaring... God, I tell you what, if you know Andy and Lydia, what time is it? 22, get round theirs, because that sounds like a feast. Kathy's in Glasgow. She says, tonight I'm going to wear a white rah-rah skirt covered in feathers with a matching bodice. What? Quick! Gary's joining me on the ice tonight. We're dressed like peacocks. We're beautiful. Has never been more beautiful, has it? Oh, it's magic land. Hi, Liza. My solo snack is cheese and peas in a buttery jacket potato. Cheese and peas? God, we could serve that on the ice next time, couldn't we? I love the idea of that. My friends don't understand me. Happy Christmas, says Ian of Llandudno. Paul's from the forest. He says, I get sideways look when I have Arctic roll and hot custard. They complement each other wonderfully. Give it a go. Peggy's been on with this and it's blooming fabulous. Been dating Rob for a couple of months in the early 70s and we were sitting round in his parents' garden in our summer gear, no shoes, and Rob had very high arches which made the balls of his feet rather large. So I commented on the arches and his mum, Nell, said, yes, he's got big balls like his dad. And his parents were quite churchy people, so his mum got very embarrassed. I love it when something can be a double entendre. Yes, well, he's got big balls like his dad, you see. I'd pay money to hear that. Thanks, Peggy. She says, could you send love to absolutely everybody? Yep, cervix.
No sunshine when
oh, Bill.
Gone.
I don't know if anybody saw Ian, Lynn and the Mogs in Paisley because they look sensational. Fuzzy peach Pantone colour of the year, spandex suit. Did you see it on the ice? I mean, it looked breathtaking. Full-length zip up the front and a big 70s collar. I mean, it was like a bit of Panto magic for a second. Ian, of course, was wearing the Santa outfit. I mean, waist up because he's not an idiot. He's a Scotsman. Ailsa is in Windy Cackwall, Orkney, and says, my top bird trumpington this week was the elusive great white egret. I love an egret. I mean, I'm very accustomed, having travelled all over India, to the egret. There have been 3 birds lingering in the wetlands of Orkney for the last couple of months, but I've only just managed to catch up with it this week. Well done, you. Tough, that's tough to beat, isn't it? Well, it's not about beating, is it? It's not about beating. Paul Beasley's in Cornwall and says, as per pro the above, malapropisms. You've given me quite a lot of mum remembrances tonight, and I thank you very much for them. My dear old mum used to refer to the train station in London as St Pancras and her joint pains as arthritis. Yeah, you see, sometimes it's absolutely pointless to alter things, isn't it? Absolutely pointless. Me and my fabulous co-workers, Kate, once found ourselves accidentally involved in a caper at a local hotel, Liza. This is Hannah. She's in Ashton-under-Lyne. We made quite the performance of parking our car between two other cars. We then got out and all hell let loose behind us because the man who'd been sat in the car next to us ended up spread on the bonnet and handcuffed by two plainclothes policemen who'd been on a stakeout. Oh, I'd have loved that. Chili bean and sausage casserole for tea with a bucket of white wine. Love to everyone. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but it's just getting self-indulgent now. When I've got more music to play. Harry Roy, Dick Boothroyd. It's a terrific song, thank you very much. Liza, we took Mum to Bridlington for a chippy tea. Yum, yum. Upon passing a wind farm, she came out with, well, blimey, they must use a lot of lecky. Beef and green peppers in a black bean sauce for tea. I've contracted it out to the local takeaway. I'm far too busy for that kind of stuff, yeah. All the best to all the skaters tonight. You loved it, didn't you, Paul? That's Paul M. Now, it actually, sadly, leaves me... Well, sadly, thank you for everything to you, and thank you for everything to this team here, to Anthony Birchley, to Ali Gardner, to Simone the Green Prince Lombardy, to Marie, fantastic addition to Anything Copley, to Dr. Lloyd, I'm a terrible show-off spring, and to you, from us, happy Christmas and good health to everybody. See you next year.
Place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
Pauline, don't use the phone because I'm expecting a call. A crack is what I was going to say. That's not what I meant. There's a crack of... I don't think I can get a name for it.